All right, guys, how's it going? So we're going to be talking about this article here published by James Pearce at The Athletic. It's behind a paywall, I think. My friend was telling me that if you go to archive.ph and go to the second bit down the page and paste in the URL from any article at The Athletic or The Times or anything like that, it opens it up. Can you believe that? You'll have to let me know if it works. I pay for my subscription to The Athletic. All right, just saying. Anyway, so this article by James Pearce, what went wrong for Liverpool at Wembley. Now, I don't really want to talk about the game. You might have noticed I didn't do a post-match video to get your thoughts. And today's going to be one of those days where everyone's just a bit meh. Do you know what I mean? But I wanted to talk about this one. And I can't read the entire article to you. It would be wrong. But I want to focus on this bit here. Physical and mental fatigue, being one of the reasons. And James writes, the intensity of that energy sapping 2 legs high against PSG undoubtedly took its toll. And then there was the psychological impact of going out of Europe in such heartbreaking fashion. 9 of Liverpool's 10 outfield players at Wembley also started both games against the French champions. Privately, Slot will surely regret his lack of rotation against lowly Southampton before the second leg against PSG at Anfield when he only made 3 changes. He should have shown more faith in fringe players such as Wataru Endo and Harvey Elliott. Liverpool's head coach gave his players Thursday off in the build-up to Sunday's final in the hope it would inject some freshness, but they were flat and passive against Newcastle. Liverpool got bullied against Newcastle as they lost challenge after challenge. If it wasn't fatigue, then it was a lack of desire, which is much more damning. Slot's side won just 43% of duels overall and just 32% of aerial duels. Ryan Gravenberch has certainly been overlooked. Having clocked up 1,839 minutes last season, he's played almost double that amount this time around, 3,516 minutes. He won just 3 out of 7 duels on Sunday, while fellow midfielders Alexis McAllister, 2 out of 7, and Dominic Szoboszlai, 3 out of 8, also struggled with the physicality of the contest. Now, James does go on to mention he's just looking at different things and maybe fatigue's one of them. But it made me think back to the January/February transfer window. I remember saying at the time, that you should strengthen from a position of power, from a position of being top of the league, top of everything. And not looking at that and going, we're doing so well, look at us, we don't need to strengthen. I thought we should have, made some additions in that winter window, because I think it sends out a signal to your rivals, look how good we are, but we still want to be better. I think psychologically to the players on the pitch, if you play in a certain position, if you're Ryan Gravenberch, who's challenging you for your position? Endo? We know what the situation is there with Endo. We all love Endo, right? But he's not going to challenge, Gravenberch or whatever. And so I think that when you've got new players on the bench, more quality, as Rafa Benitez would say, for sure, it maybe makes them think, fucking hell, I need to, keep at it, kind of thing. And more importantly, I think it would have brought in, fresh legs, and, a new player buzzed up, ready to prove a point. And more importantly, would have given some of those key players like Ryan Gravenberch a rest. Now, we talk about Martin Zubimendi on here on my Spanish paper reviews quite often, right? Because, one, I'm keeping an eye on him to see what happens with his future. Once that's resolved in the summer, we'll probably never mention him again unless he comes to Liverpool. But, whenever I've mentioned him, people say, well, why are we still talking about Zubimendi? We've got Ryan Gravenberch. And I heard that from the first part of the season. And my biggest fear this season was tailing off in the second half of the season. I never voiced that opinion much on here because I didn't want to be negative. Everything's going well. Why would you want to say things like that, Dunk, But it was something that was on the back of my mind. And whenever you suggested needing to strengthen, you have these certain supporters, which some people might call top reds, come out and say, what is wrong with you, Chubs? We're contesting, for 4 trophies. And my response is always, well, I hope we, are still chasing 4 trophies in a few months' time, which we're not. Now, we could have signed someone in January. Maybe it would have made no difference whatsoever, but I would certainly like to have seen that intent. An elite club, a serious club, should have done that, I think. And I know that people are going, we got the league, and I know, guys, it's amazing. And yes, it's a transition season, and we didn't expect this. Great. But would you rather have won the league? I mean, you haven't won it yet. You know what I'm saying? We haven't done that. All been well. Or would you have, wanted more? I'm old school. Winning a league, just fucking, yeah, nice one. Yeah, but we had a real good chance, I think, of winning other silverware this season. And I think the reason for it, I think our reason is that predictable tail off. I saw it coming. I'm not a fucking expert, do you know what I mean? I would never claim to be, and yeah, I'm not here saying I was right. I'm not like that, do you know what I mean? I don't mean that, guys. I don't want to come across like that. But I'm sure there's others on this channel watching this video going, Dunk, I thought the same, mate. Coming up to that winter window, buzzing, right? But the minute we crashed out of the FA Cup, you know what I thought? Here we fucking go. That's what I thought, honestly. I did. And I'm just annoyed because he's going on about, being fatigued and that, but he'd have been one of them that was taking the piss, where's the net spend, boys, and all that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that, don't you? So it's just so frustrating. We should have strengthened at the halfway point, and maybe people like Ravenberg could have had a rest. We were told there was nobody else in the world over than Zubimendi last summer. Do you remember that? Nobody else in the world, and my biggest fear this season was tailing off. That was it. I just thought, I wonder if they'll get tired in that second half. Seen it before. You fucking watch, right? And if you're going to just fire back at me and go, what's wrong with you? We're going to top of the league. I'm not being depressed. I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, he's talking about fatigue. Yeah, he'll be one of them. I guarantee if you look back that would have gone, oh no, Liverpool don't need to do this. They're very good. They're all right. Everything's fucking fine and dandy. But anyone with fucking any intelligence back in the winter window would have said it would make sense to sign just maybe 1 or 2 players, do a bit of that. Don't mean you're going to go and splash fucking zillions. And I'm not stupid. I know it's a very difficult window to navigate and negotiate. But I really do think that the problem here is that it's just gone like that. Do you know what I mean? And maybe there's no guarantees. You could have fucking signed anyone, and it might have still gone the same way. But I would rather have felt like, oh yeah, nice one. Yeah, we've got a bit more of an option here. And then when you hear of Slot only wants to play with this amount of fucking players and that, I don't know. I don't want to get into the cup final, to be honest with you. It was just him. The reason I made the video, right, because I really didn't want to talk about it, is because I read that and think, here we got a journalist telling us that, maybe it was fatigue. No fucking shit. I mean, seriously. And then, I guarantee, in January, February, he won't have been saying, very disappointing that Liverpool didn't strengthen, they're in a great position, that little bit of extra... You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you, guys? You fucking know, don't you? Anyway, yes, transitional season, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I'd rather have won something fucking else as well, because that's the way. We're just going to go into a season now when we only want to win 1 trophy. It's a difficult subject because, yeah, you've got to be grateful, and fuck me, we've overachieved maybe in the eyes of some, this transition and all that. But you got to get it fucking right, guys. You got to get it right. And if Man City had been themselves, would we have that big fucking advantage in that? Let's just get the league wrapped up. That's all that matters now, as far as I'm concerned. There's no guarantees, right? We could have done anything in January, February, and maybe nothing would have changed. But my biggest fear was fatigue, and I thought if we don't strengthen in the winter window, that maybe we might tail off, because I've seen it before, and I was fucking right. So, but I'm just, it's this bothers me. This bothers me. Anyway, that's it. All right. Did anybody else think like that? I mean, I don't want to be negative, Today's going to be one of those days, I think, where everyone's just a bit like, oh, fucking, well, everyone will be in the comments like, fucking, fucking, you know what I mean? Because everyone's fucking whatever. Fair play to Newcastle, man. If Newcastle had been in a cup final against anybody else, I would have wanted them to win. Without a doubt. And, to lose to Newcastle, and they've sorted that trophy out, fair play to them. They fucking deserved it. Absolutely. All right. So I'll leave you with it. If you appreciate the video, thumbs up the video. And if you appreciate my efforts or whatever, don't mean you agree with me. If you've got a comment about it, please do let me know. And if you want to buy me a coffee, hit the super thanks button under the video, and I'll give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's morning briefing on my other YouTube channel. The link is in the video description. It'll probably come up on the screen as well. But do you get what I'm saying here, guys? You know what I'm saying here. It's just, I don't know. He's writing down there all the reasons why Liverpool maybe didn't fucking win, or why they look so shit or something. But I don't see any little like bold fucking sub-headlines saying a lack of investment or something. You fucking really annoy me, these punks. If you're going to watch another video today, right, go and check Red Raw LFC. I watched Martin's video this morning about these journalists. And he summed it up for me. Go and have a look. Go and see Miserable Martin. They annoy me so much, man. Do you know what I mean? But then there'll be these fucking top reds will be watching, right, going, what's wrong with you? We're top of the league. Well. It's not the fucking point, right? We were in a strong position, man. We should have done something about it. Fucking hate these owners. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care if you fucking disagree with me or not anyway. If you disagree with me, thumbs down the fucking video. See if I care. All right, guys. See you in a bit. All right.